Here on Twitch and lichess. Enjoy the beard because it won't last long. I'm kind of superstitious about shaving, although I don't know why. I should be. I've had kind of bad result in this tournament. But it's still not over, and I should be able to win, have a good chance to win my last two games, and I'll still win some sort of prize if I can win the last two games. So, enjoy the beard. It might be gone by Sunday. It's a little lucky pen. There was a Chess Chow story about that years ago. Anyway, guys, we're taking 5+3 challenges. Yesterday, I played maybe like one of the worst games I've ever been a part of in my life. It was horrible. I was white. I was clearly better after like 15 moves. Then I immediately started to underestimate my opponent, thinking that it was just going to be a wipeout. I made a terrible move. I lost all my advantage. I became depressed. And then I started to lose concentration. Missed a very, very strong move. Had a completely lost position. I was like -10. I was only down the exchange for a pawn, but it was like -10 because his pieces were so active. And my queen was almost trapped. And he managed to mess it up. I was down to like 1 minute in a lost position. And he messed it up so bad that he got totally lost. But I was down to my increments and failed to find many wins in this endgame where he was getting mated. I panicked. It's so weird because here on the stream I'm playing. We're always playing with like 3-second increments, you know. So that's my. It's very, very bad, you know. In my mind, it's like I've always got like a 3-second increment, and I can't adjust to. It's like I can't adjust to being in time pressure with a 30-second increment. In my mind, it's like because of the stream, I'm so used to having this 3-second increments. If I'm like down to my increments, I'm freaking out. Like basically I have just enough time to make a move. I can't adapt to this idea that I actually have like 20 seconds to think, you know? And so I played as if I had 3-second increments, like the end of the game, it's ridiculous. So the guy, I made mistakes and I allowed him to do like a 3-fold repetition. But it was already like difficult to win. I had messed it up. So I was like +2, then I was -10, then I was +8. He had to like lose a queen or something. And then at the end I was like probably +1 when I allowed like I draw by repetition. It was ridiculous. Like easily had to be one of the worst 5 games I've ever played. If we put it on chess on the Stockfish like game analysis, it would probably come out to like 200 cent upon loss for both sides. I mean, it's insane. Anyway, we got a bunch of our regulars here. The Pool B captain complaining that he didn't get me to play board 4 for his team this season last night. Everybody, yeah, it's very typical in the amateur games to have like -10, get away from it, right? That's what it was. It became like a club. It became like a club, you know, a weak club chess game, basically. That's exactly what I played yesterday. Something you'd see at the Pool B Chess Club. Anyway, Imre Bardi, PSG Soccer Rook, Arsenal fan. I'm just taking challenges, guys. No subscriber preference. I'm just accepting the challenges in order. If you have 100 or so games, don't have to be a subscriber to play. You can probably make the time control whatever is best for training. Oh, no, it doesn't matter at this point. But I'm just saying, like, I realize this is a huge problem for me. Uber driver, the 30-second increments. I never ever play in time pressure with 30-second increments. Maybe I should practice playing like 1 minute 30-second blitz or something like that, or half a minute. I think that would probably be good. Like a 30 half minute, 30-second blitz. It's not really blitz because 30 seconds is going to pile up, but I don't know how to practice playing with 30-second increments because it was like ridiculous. I just like had a totally winning position and I was kind of panicked that I would lose on time because I've never ever laid down to my increments in a long game practically. In blitz it's normal, but it's like, how do you, it's hard to make that transition from playing a long game to it becoming like a blitz game, essentially. I can't stand this time control, to play with only one time control. If the time limit for the tournament had a second time control, I would be easily the favorite to win the tournament. But I was saying this to Jim, who sent me a message yesterday. I think the fact that the time control has only one time control, even though I'm second seed, I'm no longer necessarily favorite. I would benefit greatly from a second time control. When I registered for the tournament, I thought it was going to be the standard FIDE time control of 90 minutes plus another 30 minutes after that, and it turned out it was only one time control, which favors the randoms, I think. Yesterday my opponent, it was like he would play 5 moves like a grandmaster, but then he would like make a horrible move because he was playing too fast. It was like 5 good moves in a row, then a bad move, and then another 5 good moves in a row, and then a bad move, because he was concentrating on playing fast. Was CD better than 95? I don't know, man. You have to look it up. But Queen D7 is not a normal move. Actually, you're not going to be able to look it up because it's not a normal move. I mean, I've seen only Queen B6. I had a game with Heinal Zoltan 2 years ago. Everybody plays this line for black. It's extremely solid. Don't know if it's possible to play Queen C7 here. Pretty much Queen B6 is universal. Ask Colin Crouch. Is Colin Crouch still alive? By the way, Arsenal fan, you're a UK dude. I remember he had one of the first games in this variation. He's a good player. Sorenche says you suck at time controls. They have now 75 minutes. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the club time. It's a club tournament. It's fine for a club tournament, Sorenche. Actually, I think the ideal setting for this type of time control is like, your chess club where you go at, I don't know, what is it in the Netherlands? Like, you go at 7 o'clock, you have 4 hours for the game, and then go home. So it makes sense to me to have a club tournaments at 90 minutes. But when you've got a tournament where it's 1 round a day, everybody's basically taken off from work or not going to, whatever. Okay, it has to start after 4 o'clock so the starting time is 4 o'clock so students can play. But it's like absolutely no reason why it couldn't be a 5-hour time control instead of a 4-hour time control. In fact, it should. Just so mommy and daddy can take their kiddies to school a little bit, home a little bit earlier. The games are garbage because it's no second time control. But I think in that case, Soronche, yeah, I mean, probably if we're talking about for NCL is something different. Right. I mean, yeah. I believe me. I played this time controls all my life years ago. I used to play at the Boylston, and we had club tournaments every day, and I played game 45, game 30, whatever you want. 5 games a day, or 4 games a day. Of game 30 or game 45, but Tornado or whatever, and I was good at it. But it's not a FIDE rated tournament. I mean, this is like an official internationally rated tournament. It's crazy that it's like game in 90, I think. It's too much. I mean, it's supposed to be a serious game, and we're playing just 1 game a day. So, we might as well take it seriously. This is interesting. Can I grab that pawn? Doesn't look like it. That kind of sucks. So Imre has done a good job here. equalizing. Thinking on b7 is just way too dangerous. I can't even consider it. Because bishop on e4 is monstrously good. I don't know what I did. I was talking too much, not paying attention. I mean, yeah, chop it, sure. That's my first thought too, but it's okay, playable. That's a messed up move. That is a messed up move. It's so funny that I looked at that and I was like, no, it doesn't work, you know. Actually, does it work? It doesn't work. Oh no, you've got bishop takes f1 in between move. What? Bishop takes d6, bishop takes f1, bishop takes f8, and then bishop takes c4. Dude, you calculated that quickly? He's just lucky, right? He couldn't have calculated all that in 1 second, you know? I mean, he just got lucky, right? I get a lot of people that are lucky. My opponent yesterday was lucky. He like just happened to, you know, magically get a winning position in 2 moves. He was just kind of moving quickly, didn't really think. And I did it to myself. Dude, I mean, seriously, he played bishop d3 almost instantaneously. You need to calculate like 6 moves there to make sure that works. Did I miss some move like pawn takes pawn on d5 maybe? Maybe pawn takes pawn on d5. It still probably wouldn't make a big difference if he just took it back. Oh, I bet I have ideas of bishop takes d5 even. It's stupid to analyze it now, but I'm not crazy about his last move. So yesterday, Mr. Coffee was my worst game I can remember in like probably 10 years at least. Like easily the worst game, at least mathematically speaking, that I've played. I was freaking out. I was like talking to myself, going crazy. I don't know what I was going to do if I lost to this guy. And he had actually one of the most annoying habits I've ever seen. I played him once before and it didn't bother me so much for some reason. I guess I was just crushing him, so I didn't care. But during the game, I realized, this is during a tournament game yesterday, I realized that my opponent, when it was his turn and he was thinking, he didn't move at all. He like stayed perfectly still. He didn't think that much. He would play pretty quick moves, but he didn't move. He was completely stationary. So when I'm staring at the board, like I could, damn dude, another great move. Maybe I can play this. Still, it's not a big deal. So he's completely stationary when it's his move. But when it's my move, and I like sit there with my head there in front of the board trying to concentrate, he started going through this like ritual of movements. It was like moving his elbows on the table, off the table, taking off his glasses, putting them down, putting them back on, standing up from the board, getting down. It was like this thing was just going on and on and on. It was like I couldn't, you know, really focus on the pieces because there was this movement like just above the board, like constantly. I was trying to like hover my hands over my face so I didn't have to see him like moving, but I was going crazy. It was, I mean, maybe it wasn't intentional, but it was very strange that he did it like constantly, only when it was my turn and not when it was his turn. Yeah, I mean, but usually people like that, Arsenal fan, you'll see like, right? I mean, they do it like constantly, whatever. They're like vibrating their leg and shaking the table, but it's like all the time. You know, it was like, this guy was only doing it when it was on my time, which was really weird. It was almost like it was intentional. This position, I'm starting to like it, but I don't know why. Yeah, the cap during the game would have come in handy here. It's still he got real close with his elbows to the pieces though. Like so even if you had the cap on, you could just see him kind of over the edge. All right. I mean, it doesn't bother me so much if I'm totally winning. I guess that's what happened the first time I played him. He probably did it as well. But it just didn't bother me. But once you have a lost position, you're going to become a lot more sensitive to everything. I was just bugging out. I almost went to get the arbiter to complain, like he's constantly messing with my field of vision. I mean, I didn't have a problem with a single other player I played in the tournament. It's not because I'm hysterical or something. Yeah, I mean, standard sort of poker player stuff. You don't want the opponent paying attention to what you're looking at. I mean, that goes both ways though, Soroche. If you're really smart, you give off false. I mean, we start doing poker stuff, we give off false reads or whatever. You can't trust that. I mean, I will intentionally look the wrong place sometimes to throw my opponents off. If I think they're really, if I notice they're really paying attention, I would definitely, go out of my way to try to give off a false impression there. This is a little bit like my game yesterday. Opposite color bishops, queens, and rooks, where I had the white square bishop. Oddly, he's lost. No, he's lost, but it's opposite color bishops. It's not that easy to win. Must play king h8 and rook f8. But I mean, great game by Imre Bardi. That was awesome. I mean, dude, bishop d3. Bishop d3 was an insane move. Look at this. Possible I missed something here, as usual. So I mentioned after the discussion that I had this move. But I don't see why it really changes the equation that much. The computer's like bishop takes d6, bishop takes f1. Yeah, I've got nothing. Bishop takes f8, bishop c4 was excellent calculation by black. Jerry Williams, what? Tried against me? You just smiled that you didn't fall for his trap? Jerry Williams. Rest in peace, Jerry. Thank you for helping me prosecute my opponent for trying to take a move back once. Jerry was the witness who helped me punish someone for trying to deny a touch move. But he was always a good guy. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't want to get involved in a dispute like that. But he was very honest. He was a good guy. Local chess player from Boston. All right, so PSG Soccer Rook. Anyways, I've got this coffee house opponent who plays the Stonewall attack today. It's amazing. He only lost one game, but it was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. It was like watching Bogvinik play against NN. And I can't believe he hasn't lost another game after that. I mean, it's hard to believe when you see one of the worst games you've ever seen someone lose played, and the same guy has played 7 other games without losing. He lost this one game that was so sick. It was like he had no idea how to play chess. It was incredible. PSG Soccer Rook, I faced this. Was it this move order? I faced this, yeah, the Blobix. I faced this in the first round of my tournament, oddly. But, I mean, if you see a touch move argument, a lot of people, it's kind of like a witness to a crime. A lot of people would want to not get involved, No, I mean, Arsenal fan, it wasn't just No, I mean, the guy's playing like, one of the worst games I've ever seen. And he's like 2,000 plus. I couldn't understand it. It was like, it doesn't make sense. It was notable. I just was like, wow. It was like right next to me, or maybe two boards next to me. I couldn't believe it. I think it was on the adjacent board. That's why I noticed it. And the guy is doing well in the tournament. He beat like a master. He drew another one. But I'm not going to play in this ratings poverty tournaments anymore. I've been downgraded to I am norm level. Too low rated to play in GM tournaments anymore. So I was expecting that to be played maybe in my game. I think I had this with Blobix. Bishop b5 is definitely one of the moves. So I got invited to be a house player in an IM tournament next month. I'm kind of slumming at 23.39 ELO. But what can I do? So you guys will miss me for a week next month as well. But I've got to try to play. Serenity said, I remember a time I played a team competition which I faked a piece loss. If he takes it, he loses his queen. Yeah, man, I did it yesterday. I did a fake tell yesterday. I think. It didn't work, but I mean, most of the time it won't work. You just got to accept that. But even if it works, like, it's the oldest trick in the book. Especially when I'm playing a coffee house style player who plays too fast and probably with weak players a lot. Like my opponent of yesterday primarily doesn't play strong players. He's used to beating on weaker players at the club level. So he doesn't give enough respect to his opponents. He didn't respect me, and that's why he had a lost position after like 16 moves or something. He's playing like he's playing club player. So I tried the like shaking my head like I blundered, but he didn't fall for it. I mean, this is when I was like desperate in a lost position and I had some sort of trap or something. No comment. That's seriously kind of a mental move. Castle's queenside. PSG Soccer Rook doesn't do pawn moves. This is a weird game. If e4 doesn't look right, Uber driver, dude, that was a famous story, man. I was right there for that. I wasn't actually in the room when that happened, but I was at the tournament and involved in the thing with von Neumann. The computer named von Neumann. Man, that's ages ago. The first tournament chess computer cheater. Basically. I was thinking about knight to d5. Why not? I like that it covers this stupid knight moves. Now, I've told that story before on the stream. The guy wore like a dreadlocks. Maybe he had a hat on top of it. And he had like a microphone in his ear or something. He was getting moves relayed to him. Maybe he didn't have a microphone in his ear, actually. He might have, yeah, he had to have a microphone in his ear under the dreadlocks, and he had like a keypad in his pocket or something. So he was able to relay the moves with the keypad in his pocket. But he had no idea how to play chess. Like, that was the only problem. The relayer had no idea how to play chess. So when they confronted him, he couldn't even solve like the most basic chess problem to prove that he was for real. It was the dumbest thing I ever heard of. I mean, this is really, it's really absurd. You're gonna like cheat in a chess tournament and you didn't even know how to play. I mean, I guess he knew how the pieces moved, but that was it. That was the extent of his understanding of the game. I guess, what does D3 do? The pawn T, Mr. T. Oh my god, my pawn on D5 has to be protected. I can't protect it. I like how PSG Sakura can just play any opening. He's been playing D4 all the time, and now he just switched to E4. Just switches at will. That's pretty good. That's what I try to do with white, to be able to play anything. Slemon finally got to 2,000? What are you talking about? Are you talking about here on lichess or over the board? What you talking about, Willis? A5 looks really interesting. But I think I have to do this now, before it's too late. Defend my queen. And then we go for... Man, he's got queen there. Threatening rook A4. Triple exclam. I shouldn't have told him. Wait a minute. It actually works? You don't have the opportunity to play money over the board tournaments. Meet with 2 bishops in the middle of the board. I told you. Rook A4 is a problem. But you didn't listen to me. Thought I was bluffing. Congratulations, Slemman. You have 2002 on your non-alcoholic alias. Alright. He's almost got something here. Well, I guess I win a rook back, at the very least. It's got to be mate. It is mate. crazy. It would be good if I could do like Maiden too, you know. Sick that I almost didn't play Maiden too. Alright. I'm usually not that primitive. It has to be giving away the moves there. Dude, that's just not right. But I didn't look. Arsenal fan Asmir, Philidor Soul. The soul of Philidor. And Haberbaum, I've never played Philidor. I hope it's really his soul. That's kind of cool. Alright. Probably shouldn't have played c4. Well, you could have played f3 maybe. Do you have cross defense with the queen on g2? But maybe you don't need to play c4. I thought you had another move. At one point, Arsenal's going to be pissed now. Everyone in the room saw it. Except for you. I was scarred for life by that comment. Hurting someone's feelings. Not a sensitive guy. Alright, we'll transpose to the English. Congrats on the 2000, Slemon, but I'm not surprised. You play pretty well. I would have thought you would have achieved that pretty easily here, judging by the way you play against me sometimes. The last game was very impressive. But I should note, guys, that, and girls, because there are so many here, I should note that Sunday we have the evening streams back again. So I will be doing my weekly simul. The Sunday, don't miss it, 6:30 p.m. CET. Arsenal playing the Accelerated Dragon. A new addition to his repertoire. Most guys here are pretty good. In my stream, I tracked like an average rating of 1900 plus. At least those who are willing to play. I think the lower rated players tend to sit back and be shy to challenge me to play. This is Bishop e6. Common dragon idea. And I think it might be okay here. I mean, in itself, like, I don't know that this is necessarily good for me. It might be, though, if I can take and play queen b3. But I don't see that as clear. I could also take and play c5, though. Take and play c5, he's got d5. Take c5. Some combination of queen b3 and c5 looks like it should almost work. But it's a little bit messy. Give me that B pawn. Welcome, guys, to my stream. Thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to support the stream. It's been kind of a slow week because I've only done half my streams. But don't hesitate to donate. It's hard to make a living playing in chess tournaments. I'm playing like the poverty rating open right now, where everyone is like 100 points underrated because all the rating points have been sucked out of the entire environment. It's like a rating, I don't know what you call it, like a rating void. 2340 FIDE Masters. 2040 FIDE Masters 2080 IMs who play like 2400 performance. My friend who's 2080 has like a 2400 performance in this tournament. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. All right. C5, D5. Just rook D1. Maybe I need to play this now. Strike while the iron is hot. I mean, obviously white has to be better here. You almost have connect 4. Zoltan Varga, my former teammate, talked about that a little bit, like last year, 2 years ago, when we were playing on the same team. Certain countries have a sort of like climate where all the rating points have like left the country. You know, I think that's kind of happening here to some degree. I would think like economically wealthier countries, the players would probably have more rating points. If you go to like Norway, they probably have more spare ELA points than Hungary. But actually, it depends on other factors. It's not so simple as that. All right. It's very tempting to play knight a4, but it feels like a one-move trick. A one-horse pony. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But it sounded funny. All I know is that there's 3 kinds of players in my tournament. People who are old, people who are kids, people who are like socially disabled or autistic. I'm like the only person in the entire tournament who doesn't fall into one of those like 3 categories. Maybe I am socially disabled and I just don't accept it. And then you might ask, well, what's the reason for that? You know, simply, I mean, no middle-aged people. Well, I'm not old. I'm not young. I'm not in the young category. I'm not in the old category. And I'm not in the, like, the other category either. I mean, just being a chess player may automatically qualify me as socially disabled, but basically the only people who are playing in this tournament are non-chess professionals who don't have a job. They're either pensioners, little kids, or people who are middle-aged and don't work. And if that's the case, there's probably something wrong with them, because everyone should be in like the workforce. It's just a weird thing. Weird environment. I just did it as kind of, you know, a chance to play a tournament that was convenient for me because it's only 30 minutes away from my house and I can go there. It's free entry. But I didn't expect it to be so bad that I like automatically lose 5 rating points just by playing in a tournament. But that's the fact. Like I was talking to Jim in messages yesterday, our friend here from our stream. I mean, even if I won the tournament or win the tournament, I'll probably still lose 5 rating points. It's pretty sick. How young do you have to be in the young category? Oh no, I mean like 20 or under. There is a WIM playing in tournament who seems pretty normal. She's like 29. So I guess she falls in the exception category as well. But other than that, that's about it. She may be a very old student. One of those like permanent. Maybe she's one of those permanent students. Studies until they're like 30 or something. Arsenal hanging tough. What's 2 pawns at the pool chess club? Probing. Always probing. Any other donations? Look at this. By the way, Uber driver, what made you bring up meatball subs? I thought that was a curious comment. Did I make that reference earlier? You're referring to a previous stream where I talk about people eating meatball subs at the board? Something like Feingold would do on his stream. You play with action figures? That's completely normal, Asterbait. Me too. As long as it's not Barbie, you're okay. Yes, it was in my sub. What? Your sub what? You Uber driver, I think you have the same... Sharon Bertman. I think you have the same laptop keyboard as I do. Do you have a Lenovo? Or you're typing in your phone or something? Don't buy Lenovo. The keyboard is just rubbish. Alright. I've been hanging out with Uber driver too long. The British. I love rubbish. It's a great word. You're on the phone, okay. Yeah, it's hard to type. I'm not good at texting either. Damn it, Arsenal fan. Die already. Rated number 2. Lenovo. Obviously the keyboard wasn't taken into account when those ratings were processed. Buy an HP. I really love Toshiba, but they went out of... I can't believe they sold their laptop division. I mean, it's ridiculous. Why did Toshiba sell their laptop division? I don't understand. It was like their best product. It doesn't make any sense. I can't figure it out. Like, the company still exists. They only sold off like their single best product. Or eliminated. It's just ridiculous. I had like 6 Toshibas and they were all good. I never had a problem with one. But they like destroyed their corporation with other stuff. It wasn't because of the laptop division. Like they tried to go branch out and all kinds of other things. All right, Asmir, Philidor, Sol, Haberbaum. Is there a more serious tournament I can play in? I've got another bad tournament slated for February. I haven't seen the list of players yet, but it's an IM Norm tournament, which is probably going to be filled with underrated kids, I assume. Still, it may not be quite as bad as this. And because of the new K-factor rules, where a lot of kids have... You know, you start with 40 K-factor. There are actually cases of kids who are overrated, which isn't that common, but it happens. No, I'm too low rated for a GM tournament now. I have to get my rating closer to 2400. My elo is just too low. So I have to work my way up, slumming in some IM tournaments or something. I don't know about that Uber driver. It's not like USCF, you know. I don't think. I'm not sure you can just arrange matches so easily. But I guess anything in FIDE can be arranged for money. You want to play people who are higher rated in general, I guess, if you want to gain points. But it's not easy to do that, necessarily. But you can't do it in slum tournaments where everyone has already lost all their rating points. Basically, I played in this tournament because it was convenient. I'd be happy to break even. I'm like -6 ELO points now. If I win my last 2 games, I'll break even. I don't care if I lose 5 rating points. I mean, I care, but it's not the end of the world. I very nearly lost like 10 rating points yesterday. To have a completely lost position against the 2100 player. I mean, I was like millimeters from losing 10 rating points. When I'm already destroyed. This is a weird game. I don't really like the way that White played it, but at the same time, his position is still not bad. We need to consolidate here. There was one point yesterday during my game after like move 15. I looked at the center of the board, and my opponent didn't seem to have any concept that the center is important. Like, I had complete domination of the 4 central squares after 15 moves. And that's exactly the moment when I started to underestimate him and like made 2 horrible blunders. Never ever underestimate your opponent, no matter how high or low rated they are, or whatever, you know, the circumstances. Anybody can play well in a given day, it seems like. And then they can change from one day to the next. You know, one player who played horribly one day seems like they can play well the next day as like a completely different player. Yeah, the 2100s beat GMs occasionally. Exactly. It's not like... Exactly. Once in a while. Botvinnik loved... He loved his doubled C pawns, but he'd have to have something for it, like the D5 square. F4 is interesting. To keep it closed. Not sure if this is the right idea or not, but I'm also making his bishop bad on E2. My original intention was to take on E4. I think it's also okay for black, but I felt it would open up his bishop. This A-pawn coming to A5. Complicated situation. I don't really want to allow A5 necessarily. But I would just be able to... Technically, I could just like take it and start running my A-pawn down the board. I remember when I was 1272. I think my first rating was 1272 US, because I never had a FIDE rating till I was a master. I lost to an 800, I think. A little kid. I was like maybe 15 and lost to this like 11-year-old kid who was 800. And in those days, I mean, not too many people had 800 ratings. It was very, very rare. I was pretty upset about it. It was like a quad where I was probably like the highest rated or something. At 1275 or 1272 or whatever. I don't know why I feel like bringing my king to the center here, but it looks like white just made a bad decision to take on f4. I don't know, I'm having what he's having. I'll have what he's having. That was weird. Strange things sometimes happen in a chess game that are unexplainable. I've got challenges. We're taking 5+3. Stefanos Kappa, if you could challenge me to 5+3, please. I'd be happy to accept your challenge so long as you have an established rating. Yeah, when I started playing chess in the late 80s, like, nobody had ratings below 800. I mean, it's funny. Now little kids are like 200 and 300. What's the lowest FIDE rating, by the way? I wonder. I never bothered to check that. Do they have like FIDE ratings where people are under 1,000? 1,000, okay. It's good that they have a sensible limit, you know. It's good that there's a minimum, I think. It gets ridiculous otherwise. Mr. Coffee probably runs into a lot of 100s. Damn, dude, I mean, if you're like 100 and you upset like 1,000 player, do you gain like 100 rating points or something? Like, that must be a massive upset. 100 takes out 1,000. Mr. Coffee's like, yeah, it happens every day. So if you're 1,000 and you lose a game, what happens? You just stay at 1,000. It's like a floor, I guess. My assumption. Actually, Coach, it used to be 2,200. Well, I mean, I guess there was some interim where it was 2,000, like you said. But in the old times, you had to have 2,200. There was nothing below 2,200. When I got my first rating, I was 2,330. I'm about the same now, which is really scary. I've gained 9 points in my lifetime over my initial rating. In the process of losing them now in my current tournament. Yeah, Mr. Coffee, those thousands are pretty consistent. PSG Soccer Rook, I would agree with you that people are too obsessed with ratings, but like at my level, it actually becomes really important. I mean, like, I can't play in like a Grandmaster tournament because my rating dropped from like 2380 to 23, I don't know. I could play, but I have to pay like some exorbitant entry fee to play in a strong tournament that I otherwise couldn't. So for me, it's like really sort of like a way of life, you know. For strong masters, their rating is important. But in general, I agree. Like, club players shouldn't be so obsessed by ratings. But if you want to improve, like, you have to have some sort of driving force, you know. I guess ratings are the best way to stimulate people to, one of the easiest ways to stimulate people toward improvement. I guess I shouldn't say best necessarily. So what do we got here? You want to play h6? All right. You know I like weakening my king side. I don't know about want to do g5 or not. That's pretty extreme. I think we'll pass on that. You know, the visitor out here on a5 might want to come back to the fold at some point. The Chernyshov variation isn't all that sound. This was first notably played on a high level by Leko against Anand. But there's this grandmaster from Russia who I know, Konstantin Chernyshov. He plays a lot of interesting kind of trashy openings, but he knows them very, very deeply. It's a system. It's a system to intentionally play kind of like dubious openings, but know it really, really deep. You know, I mean, Chernyshov must know that his openings are kind of a sham, but he'll play like the Bird Larson and stuff with white, but he knows it super well. Knight a6, Queen's Indian, this stuff. So it's one system to play sort of second-rate openings and then do a lot of home analysis, you know, so you know every kind of position, even the limitations of what you're playing. Knight a5 is like, I know this is an incorrect move, essentially, but I'm playing it anyway. It's a gamble that the opponent won't be able to take advantage, but here my opponent seems quite strong. So we just end up in a classical dragon. I'm not overly thrilled with my position. Looks like white adapted pretty well. Possibly I should have exchanged knights on b3, actually. I didn't want to open up the a file, but I think this is a mistake. I should take knight takes b3. I have less space and I'm not exchanging pieces. It's probably a bad idea. Maybe this isn't bad. Again, it's a way to exchange pieces, which is important. Carlsen is Carlsen is the greatest practical chess player of all time. But I think that the faster time controls favor him massively. I wonder if we played with more classical time controls, if the tournaments were all the same time controls as like in the 80s today, would Magnus necessarily be the world's #1? I guess he would still be, but I don't think by as much of a margin. If we made the time control 40-2 instead of 90, 40 and 90, and then like, you know, if it was like a 6-hour time control instead of a 4-hour time control, or let's say a 6-hour time control instead of the 5-hour time controls, I wonder if Magnus would really be, you know, look at the way he couldn't beat Carlsen in the Caruana in the match in the regular games. No, I don't think so, PSG, maybe. But I mean, if he's the best in slower time controls, it's by a tiny, tiny margin. Tiny. The tiniest, dude. He couldn't beat Caruana in the standard games, you know, consistently. He's not really better than the rest of the players, it seems like, at the longer time controls. But in rapid, it becomes like a totally different game. You know, so I think that that's not really right. He might be barely the best at all time controls, but his margin in the longer games is very, very small. But the margin becomes massive. His margin becomes massive when we turn it to rapid chess or something like that. It's unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable that it could be so night and day. But Naka's always been a Blitz player, Coach Ah. You know, that was always his thing. He's a little too specialized. I think it's hampered him. Not sure about this. But Filderis is bad time pressure. I'm just saying the chessboard would be different. I don't like moving toward faster time controls. I feel like it cheapens the games. People argue that it makes it more exciting. I don't care. Let's play tic-tac-toe or something. If you want excitement, why don't we just play a different game? Let's not play chess. Let's, I don't know, play video games instead. I saw Hikaru was like streaming video games and poker. I mean, I love poker. I played poker for 10 years, but if I was like in the top 10 chess players in the world, I wouldn't waste my time playing poker. You know, it's a shame that he, I don't know. Hikaru should bear down. We have Queen B6 check. I can just take this piece now. Oh, you've got Rook F7. All right. He's just running out of time. Did I miss like Rook H1 check at any points? Anyway, that's my daily. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm playing in a tournament where it's one time control. One game a day with 90 minutes. What's my favorite time control for online chess? I mean 5-0, frankly. I don't want to play computers, and I don't play standard chess online. I used to play like training games with computers years ago, or even with people. But it's hard, you know, it's hard to get people to play long games online. So I would say that my favorite time control is E5, Haberbaum. Exceedingly interesting move. I totally forgot about it, and Solansi played it against me the other day. He totally stunned me. A Dorian's move. I never expected this in my wildest imagination. There's still a lot of fertile ground to be analyzed, it looks like, with E5. Can you manage 2 or more 90-minute games a day? Well, that's the point. I would think you could, you know. It's ridiculous to have a 1-game-a-day tournament where the time control's 90 minutes. What are we doing for the rest of the day? You know, am I going to take off from my work so I can play chess for 4 hours? I mean, it seems like a waste. If you're going to have a 1-game-a-day tournament, then it should be like a 5 or 6 hour time control. Otherwise, what are you doing all day? I don't understand, you know. When I signed up to play the tournament I'm currently playing in, I thought it was 40 moves in 90 minutes and then an extra half an hour at the end. In fact, one guy actually lost on time in the tournament because he just assumed it was like, I heard the arbiter saying, sorry, you know, in Hungarian, sorry, there is no other time control. mean, what do you do the rest of the day? You go play a round of golf, or you have an extra long lunch? I didn't know you played the Accelerated Dragon, Haberbomb. Well, Nakamura, like, totally changed his style with black. It's horrible. I've lamented on this a lot. Like, why is the guy playing the Caro-Kann and the Queen's Gambit declined with black? It's ridiculous. He's not been the same since he started doing that. Okay, rook f c8. If a3, knight takes b3, I didn't know you played this opening. Haberbomb is now up to 2,000. And Blitz. 1900 rapid. Do you know how many times I played this position with black? Probably hundreds. Significantly less with white, although I had this position against Gildardo Garcia once. It was a draw. Gildardo. Remember once I lost to Banus. You're playing exactly like me, Haberbomb. It's like playing myself. I don't like h5 anymore. I think I might have stopped playing that. It's pretty weakening. Well, Hikaru seems to have other priorities. He cares more about streaming than playing real chess. It's kind of like Grishuk playing poker. If you're like an average grandmaster, I could understand like spending your time playing video games and poker. But if you're like one of the top players in the world, it seems like you're wasting the opportunity of a lifetime. That's just my take on it. Just my personal opinion. So if a3, a4, b4, bishop takes d4. Actually, this should be fine. Yeah, but there's more and more average grandmasters. I mean, as international master, I can say that the international master title has been devalued. Grandmaster's certainly been devalued. There's more grandmasters than there ever were, and I think that the title means less and less. But, you know, still it's a very, very major achievement. Haberbomb is playing like he swallowed an opening encyclopedia. He's never played the Accelerated Dragon against me that I can recall. But he knows this insanely well. But Fabiano's dedicated, dude. I mean, that's the clear difference you see between Nakamura and Fabiano. I don't think that he's more talented than Hikaru, but the dedication is much more there. Totally, dude. Totally. He's just way more dedicated. And I don't know Wesley So too well. You know, I never met him. I never talked to him. The other two people are people who I've played. You know, I personally know Hikaru since he was a kid. I've played him many times. I Matt Caruana, I played with him. Don't know him as well as Hikaru. But like Wesley So, I can't really say anything about. I'm not the kind of person who just gossips about people without having personal knowledge. I don't know Wesley So. But I have to say that I never thought Caruana, I didn't realize when I played him that he had exceptional talent, but he's been unbelievably dedicated, and he deserves it. All right. The knight on a4 is usually a problem. I don't think that Nakamura is more talented than Caruana. I couldn't possibly differentiate that. How do you define? How do you can have an opinion, but I think that's a pretty tough, how can you possibly really say, which one is more talented? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm falling for some sort of tactic here. Maybe I am. Like knight c3. God. Knight c3. I think that might have actually worked. Rook a2, knight c3. Haberbomb beat me last game. When I think of talent, I think of like Viswanathan Anand. No, who no doubt worked hard too, but just seemed like chess was always so easy for him, I've never seen anyone play as if like the game was so effortless, no? But you got to consider the different perspectives of those two players. I mean, this is an amazing game by Haberbomb. You're playing like Bent Larson or something. He's 2,000. He's like 2,300. Sorry, Bent. Didn't mean to call you a 2,300. But you got to consider the different perspectives that Caruana and Nakamura came from. Hikaru was always playing Blitz. All he ever did was like play Blitz, play Blitz, play Blitz. And Caruana was more of like less Blitz. Seems like he studied the game a little more deeply rather than just playing Blitz all the time. I was surprised Hikaru got as far as he did because he was playing constantly just Blitz. I wouldn't think it would have been enough. Obviously, he studied. I mean, he didn't just play Blitz. But I think it was too much just playing Blitz all the time. I'm surprised he got as far as he did, wasting the amount of time that he did on playing just Blitz. You think it would have held him back more than it did. It seemed like Caruana approached the game more classically. This is an epic game. Classic accelerated dragon. If you lose control of the A1 square with black, you're dead. That's my philosophy. I'm just kidding, guys. But it is something to that. There is something to that. Maybe I can break through here with rook a6. Some sort of c5. If I lose my c-pawn, though, I don't necessarily want that to happen. Just your average 2,000 player. He played like pretty much how I would play. Maybe with some slight differences. Of course, white is better, but it's not clear it's enough to win. He was number one out of 7 million fantasy football. He dropped down a bit 2 weeks ago. I know nothing about fantasy football. I freely admit it. All right, now I think we've got something. We should have something now. Let's see, c5. Why did I just do that? I don't know. It was a stupid move. I mean, this is insane, dude. How strong is this guy? Just a draw now. Is there some way I can make progress here? Doesn't seem like it. It's unbelievable. Ibrahim is like a master. I mean, look at this game. I don't think that black made a single inaccuracy the whole game. And he had more time than me. It's unbelievable. He knows all the theory. Like 20 moves deep. And he's like 2,000. Bishop h6 is a TN. On move 21. Yeah, I think I noticed that Keto Lee had played the Accelerated Dragon at some point. I'm better here. C5, I don't know. E5 was a big blunder. It's just ridiculous. But apparently you made some mistakes. I wish I had spotted them. All right. Destroyer 942, Stefanos, and Zen Chess. I think that's all the games we're going to have time for, probably. I got to do something about the light in my office here. It's getting to be like glowing sun. It's like it's too powerful. Well, the Queen f8 Bishop h6 idea is, it is standard. The entire concept of trading dark square bishops is the plan. So you just Larson actually played Queen H8, King H7, and Queen H8, which I've used before. But that doesn't guarantee the exchange of the dark square bishops, like Bishop H6 in this position. Okay, who is our opponent? We've played them before. I don't remember them very well. Coach 100 bits. That's the way I always treat the position, Sleman. The A1 square is the most critical. Just make sure you control A1. Half joking, but Rubinstein versus somebody. You know what's funny? For like 100 years, chess theory said that black should play knight to c6 in the Tarrasch. But if you give the position to the Stockfish, it says that it's perfectly okay to do this knight f6 first. Just because, I don't know, probably like Rubinstein won some crushing game where his opponent played like knight f6 instead of knight c6 or something. I don't know. Theory was always biased. That it's so important for black to play, knight c6 first. But given the choice, it's actually not that big a deal, I think. Coach, thank you for the donation, 100 bits. Guys, please support the stream. We had a kind of short week this week without Tuesday and Thursday. Nevertheless, I've been out of work this week. Slumming. Not slumming, slumming. Slumming in the tournament. Pay my tournament dues. Actual Agad Mater video title. Google DeepMind AI AlphaZero refutes 1E4. I just, it's kind of like people doing streams where they follow Magnus Carlsen. Like, it's disgusting, dude. I mean, I like Chess Network, but to make streams just because you're using Magnus Carlsen's name, it's kind of disgusting. I mean, follow Magnus Carlsen, play Bullet, and that's your stream or whatever. Okay, whatever. I remember somebody had posted YouTube videos where they like followed Hikaru's Blitz games and was like trying to make money by doing that, Yeah, but it feels like he's using those people, you know what I mean? Arsenal fan? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I realize that Carlsen is like a celebrity. You can't like copyright chess moves. But it does feel like they're kind of getting used. Bishop takes c5. But then again, it's like promotion. I don't know. I'm not a copyright lawyer. So black's going to get away with this. I try not to do the clickbait thing. But again, I'm not making any income from my monetized YouTube channel. I don't really have time for that. All right. I don't know. It's not even my move. Am I in the right position? Why wouldn't it let me play rook c1? Yeah, it's absurd, dude. Even 90 minutes games are garbage. Okay? I played a 200 centipon loss game yesterday in 90 minutes. Imagine the quality of chess in 1 minute. There is none. It doesn't exist. It's popcorn. It's entertainment. I mean, what do you even Magnus Carlsen, dude, in 1 minute chess can't play correctly. Sorry. He tries and he comes closer than anyone else, probably. But I'm not tuning in. It's slightly less interesting than watching a World Championship match between Anand and Carlsen. Now, if you had, like, I don't know, rapid chess, then it's cool. Maybe even Blitz. I'm not even going to get started. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I'm not going to talk about bullet chess. It's just a waste of time. I think it's hurting a lot of people's games too. All right. Now what do I do? Just win the pawn? Win the pawn. Zen chess, seriously? That's just a made up thing. It was like a joke. But then people started taking it seriously. I think the hyperbullet was created as a joke originally. Some people didn't realize it was a joke and started doing it on purpose. Literally. Black has some compensation here. Yeah, I agree. It totally... Well, even Blitz, you have to be careful not to play too much. Lasting compensation. This is kind of disturbing. Barely better. Wow. Maybe I should play bishop c4. This is kind of disturbing even. No PSG soccer rook. Firouzja is a top player despite playing bullet chess. That's how talented he is. I mean, a genius is going to be a genius no matter what, you know, route they choose to get to, where they got. I can't argue with this anymore, dude. You should probably watch another stream if all you care about is like bullet chess and then arguing that it's constructive. I would never agree with you. honestly, and I'm tired of people taking that route against me. You just contradict everything I say, and it's just really irritating. You're actually being very detrimental to what I'm trying to do by constantly trying to make the argument that bullet chess is good. I absolutely 100% disagree with you, and I would never change my mind. He would become a great chess player no matter what, but he would probably be even better if he didn't play bullet chess, I would say. Likely. That's the last thing I'm going to say on it. You want to try to defend it because you like playing bullet chess, but the fact of the matter is it's bad for your game. Obviously, I got a little distracted there. I don't know why. Please don't start like arguments with me on my stream while I'm trying to play. It's already detracting from the stream. It's just ignorant, disrespectful to what I'm trying to do. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, then don't watch my stream, you know. Don't come here and argue with me against my philosophy. I mean, it's ridiculous. But don't argue to the point where it's like upsetting me when I'm trying to concentrate. All right. Anyway, here we go again. No, these people are just going to believe their fantasy about bullet chess till the cows come home. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm just totally tired of this argument. There was another guy on my stream last stream or 2 streams ago who was really irritating me with the same exact stuff. I try to teach people something and then you go against it completely, you know, and you're just trying to like argue against what I'm trying to teach people, what I believe is the right way. So don't bring it to my stream. It just, even if you think you're right, you're going against what I'm trying to teach people, which is destructive. They don't know who Botvinnik is, Uber driver. They don't even know who half of the famous chess players of the world are. They don't care about the history of chess or the classical chess or anything, you know. It's disgusting, but it's sad. This pawn sacrifice is probably not sound. We got a very serious problem with our knight on a2. Aliekin played some lines of the Slav with knight on a2, but the thing has to get back very quickly. Your first priority here is to not leave the knight on a2 too long. Anyway, guys, I think white has compensation for the sacrificed pawn. But I can't blame black for taking it. You know, I think it's principled. So if outposts, support points for the knights. Likely there'll be an exchange of dark square bishops, which isn't that bad for me. Not sure where this knight should go, actually. All right, man. Have a nice life, Arsenal fan. Good luck with your next sport. Or whatever you consider it. Try the pool. The pool club. Take care, man. Improving the worst piece. Well, that's a Dvoretsky thing. Probably like way before Dvoretsky. Basically, Mark said that you should do that when you don't know what else to do. It's kind of a general rule of thumb. That was Dvoretsky's concept. You're not trying to only think about that constantly. You know, it's sort of like if you don't know what else to do. If I've explained that properly. I don't know who first created that rule, but you have a better chance of knowing than me. Since you're a relative chess historian, which I appreciate. We were just talking about how the younger generation doesn't seem to have any appreciation for chess history. Now it's just completely forgotten. But a lot can be learned from the past. And some people don't realize that. I don't know about this move, really. It's going to be hard for him to play. Break free of that pressure on c6. To move all your pieces one square away from their best square. It's a weird concept. I don't know. I think you need more context with that comment, Zen Chess. You think the Steinitz was improve the worst piece? Steinitz was a good defender. And playing in cramped positions. I mean, he was good at a lot of things, not just defense. So this is an interesting position when you want to teach people that material is not really that important. And white is down a pawn, but white isn't worse in this position. I control 3 out of 4 central squares. I have a little bit more, feels like a little bit more space, although he does have this extension over here. Center is obviously very important here. I like this regrouping idea, but I'm not sure he's going to go here. I've got that. d4 to defend it twice. Now knight f5. Maybe queen e4, no. I mean, even if I could trade queens, I could even trade queens with like queen e5. Just hung a rook. Well, actually not. That's cute. You didn't hang a rook. It's pretty unbelievable. You played knight d7 and wow. Calculation of this move would be something. He's taking on c5 and then taking on f3. He wins back the exchange and then a piece, so he gets a full rook back. Yeah, Uber driver, of course. The queen's bishop sometimes can be developed from its original square, since you're not often castling on that side. And the obstruction of the rook is rather minor. I can't believe he can just solve his problems with this. Knight e7 followed by knight d7, hanging his rook on a6. That's an insane defense. All right, I don't know what to do. I just have to go home. Hopefully I still have compensation for the sacrificed pawn, but I'm not winning my material back. It's really sad. If you take on a5 with a rook, it's rook takes rook, rook takes rook, knight takes rook, rook a8. That's the whole point. He wins back his pawn on a4. I'm still down a pawn. And the more pieces have been traded. What do you mean he loses c6? c6 is protected. Am I missing something? It's not? Queen h6 was surprising. Now I'm not sure I really have enough compensation for my sacrificed pawn anymore. He got down to his increments. But now he's like rock solid. He lost something. Wait. Finally. Still though, I mean, he's probably okay. Yeah, I got to get back to c5. Then he takes on d4. His queen's almost trapped. I just lost an exchange. Didn't see it. I have no idea. I'm too tired, man. You can have a draw. What a defense. I can't play this game anymore. It's like I'm tired of this game. It's just, wow. There was one game there. I just expected black to lose this. Once he got down to his increments with no time. Check this out. He found this move. Hanging his rook on a6. The only defense. You can also play knight f5, actually. I would have played knight f5. Wow. And then I was worse. But he defended all this just on his increment. Looks like I was winning for one move there at one point. Now I just hung the exchange and he didn't take it, so it just degenerated. He just didn't take it, he was moving too fast. Anyway. Alright. I was down to seconds. This is my last game today, guys. I gotta go. Oh, Morales. Dude, I got a lesson. I can't stay for that, man. I'll catch you later. Well, I was thinking about trapping his queen. I admit it. We'll see you on Sunday. I hope you can play. I know you can't necessarily make a lot of the streams. Hopefully you can make it. H4, B5. What is this H4 anyway? We've been here before. I don't remember the last game. They can do H5 and even sack the exchange. Surely Kamsky wouldn't play H4, would he? Maybe. He does the London system in general. I'm not sure if he does the stuff with knight c3. He's more old school. Oh yeah, I played that. I thought I had made a mistake allowing knight b5, but it's actually better than it looks. I'm trying to think of the Chinese Grandmaster Wei Yi. That's it. I mean, Wei Yi I've seen play games where he just sacks the exchange on h5. He had a game with Tomaszewski like that. It was really scary. It was all like computer analysis for moves and moves. Tomaszewski defended like perfectly for like 20 moves and then lost. What am I supposed to do in the modified Zen chess attack? I know it's my move. It's the modified. Oh, I'm in the wrong position. That's what you mean? Yeah. I sensed there was something wrong there. I had skipped back. At least I only lost a minute. Unfortunately, I gotta go after this, guys. Thanks for tuning in. So I can lose the tempo. But probably better not to even bother with that. I picked up my rook. I didn't know rooks move like that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back with a Sunday simul at 6:30. Queen d2. So what happens if I play like knight to g4? I mean, actually, I think this is fine. You might argue it helps white by trading off his bad knight on c3. You might be right if you argued that. I was thinking about knight g4. Yeah, it just looked too fishy. Right? Something fishy about it. The knight g4. It might just be a good move, though, with my luck. Now the game changes. The problem is, like, where does he put his king? We have an answer. You ask a question, you get an answer. I like it. But, you know, I don't see the white attack that's so fearful in most of the lines like this. Knight g5. This is preparing knight g5. Possibly knight e1. So if I play bishop takes f3, just simply takes with the pawn, keep it complicated. Whatever. It's my last game, guys. I gotta go. We're gonna keep it simple for Zen chess. Pre-move. I'm a pre-move expert. I'm becoming an opposite color bishop endgame expert too. That's the one thing I've got to really give Carlsen credit for. Black's better here in this opposite color bishop position. I'm liking black a lot now. Caro Khan reference is appreciated. I agree. Very Caro Khan-y. Maybe I shouldn't give him time for this. Now Zen chess is going to clam up into solid mode. Though I don't know what I could really do objectively. Now he's playing the Caro Khan. Wait. Uber driver, who's playing the Caro Khan here? White or black? That's what you got to ask yourself. Wait, who's playing the Caro Khan? I guess it's hard to say. Both sides are playing the Caro Khan after c3. It's a mutual Caro Khan. Mutual of Omaha. Probably not exactly the safest continuation, but we should be all right. It was kind of difficult to say where I should put my king. With all those rooks over there, I mean, it looked like safer to castle on the queen side, but I'm not crazy about these diagonals. Look at that diagonal. That is a killer. He's going for it. Threatening queen f4. On the move. Can't believe I blundered queen f4. I misplayed this. Probably Zen chess is better now. He's got a very strong attack after queen f4. No, I misplayed this. Castle's queenside was a bad idea. I'm not really sure where I should put my king. The truth is that probably I should just play something like a5, a4. But I don't think that I'm really better. It's probably equal. I wanted to be better. Maybe I should just castle kingside, believe it or not. Wow. Trading off his own bishop pair. Now black's probably just better. Not a huge better, but better. It was a pretty big mistake, I would say. But what do I have here? He's going to make this work. Think ultra-violent. Yeah, there's no time for half measures here. We have to go for the jugular. Kill, kill, kill. That one's got to take a timeout to take that, I'm afraid. I guess rook d4 might have even been stronger. Then he has bishop d3. Yeah. Could he do bishop d3 and get away with it? Probably I did the wrong thing. Sauce is boss. But not that boss. He's hanging on now. I mean, it's a nice passed pawn, but it's pretty blockaded. Pretty well blockaded. He's like setting me up. You believe it? Oh, this. Wow. How can I not have any threats here? Damn it. He lost on time. All right, guys, I got to go. Thank you for joining me. Fun game. I will see you all later on Sunday and regular schedule next week. Thanks, Mr. Coffee. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Later, guys. Have a great weekend.